Hey guys, I've got some more work to do on the TTR today. So the first thing I'm going to do here is change the engine oil. I wish I could start it up to warm up the oil, but it'll have to do, just changing it how it is. Alright, the drain plug is right down here. So I'm going to pull it off the stand, put it on the kickstand, and drain this oil out. Sometimes it helps to tip the bike over on its side and then go back up straight. Just kind of shift it around to get majority of this oil out when the oil is cold like this. If you guys hear a fan going in the background, it's just this pellet stove. So it's been pretty cold here lately and we've been getting some snow. So kind of messes up my plan of building this track and riding it for that matter. So I've got the pellet stove going and I think it's snowing right now. Let's go take a look. Oh yeah, snowing pretty good. I do not like winter, but you know what? It looks really cool. That's the thing. While the rest of this oil is draining out, I'm gonna pull off the front fender. And I know I probably should just replace this fender, but just for the heck of it, I'm gonna see if I can fix this crack and also the sun fading. It's a long shot, but you know what? Nothing to lose. Looks like the oil is pretty much done dripping, so I'm gonna pop in that drain plug and then add in some fresh Rotella tea. For those of you wondering what I do with all my old oil, I just put it back into oil jugs and then drop it off at a recycling place, or you can drop it off at auto parts stores as well and they'll take it in for you. To get the most accurate reading out of the dipstick once I add oil, I've got to put the bike back up on the stand here. So this clutch cover specifies 1,000 centimeters cubed, which is the same as cc's. And that's what this measuring cup goes by, cc's, as you can see right here. So what I'm going to do is fill it up to 500, pour it in, do another 500, and that'll equal 1,000 cc's. By the way, I'll have the link to this cup down in the description. These things are super handy. It has all your ratios right here. So if you got a two-stroke, you got 50 to 1, 40 to 1, all the way down to 24 to 1. Super convenient to have. Link in the description. Alright, here's our first 500. Just going to pour this in and then go grab another 500. Alright, that's it. I mean, the bike doesn't run, but at least it's got fresh oil. Alright, I'm just going to double check this with the dipstick. Yep, spot on. Looks good. So after I pulled this fender off the bike, I noticed it's got another crack right here next to the bigger crack. So what I'm thinking is this fender is just super brittle from sitting in the sun. This is why you don't let your bike sit in the sun. Plastics just go to garbage. Let's see how brittle it really is. I'm just going to drop it. I'm not going to throw it down or anything, just simply drop it from like 4 feet. Holy shit! That's insane. Super brittle. Dude, that's perfect. Ronnie Mac style right there. Let's see how this would look on the bike. Dude, that's even better style than Ronnie Mac. Now I've got a bunch of plastic to clean up. That is unbelievable how brittle that fender really was. Since I'll be replacing the grips, tires, and tubes, as well as the chain and sprockets, I might as well pull the old ones off right now. That way when my parts show up, I can just slap them right on. Things are about to go down when I have the bike up on the scissor lift. So I'm going to pull these wheels off and dismount the tires. One thing I noticed earlier is there's something up with this front wheel. As I was moving it around and rolling the bike, there was a little bit of play in it. But as you can see, there's a lot of play. So these wheel bearings must be completely shot. I guess we'll figure that out once I pull the wheel off of it. The axle nut wasn't even tight. So actually, it was just the axle, it wasn't the bearings. I put the axle back through, tightened it up, and it feels good now. There's no slop in it. Alright, I'm going to pull this back wheel off now. So first things first, I'm going to pull these chain and sprockets off. It would have been easier to do with the rear wheel on to pull off this master link clip, but oh well. So I'm going to find the master link and pop the clip off of it. Looks like it's right there. Put it into gear, so that way it holds it, and then give this clip a little tap with the screwdriver and hammer. It should pop right off. I'm gonna have to pry this plate off of here. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what a worn out chain is gonna look like. This is the side to side slop in it. Yeah, it's pretty bad. This thing is toast. Alright, now on to the front sprocket. To hold the sprocket, I'm just going to put it in gear. See how it spins now? Go down into first, and it's locked. Now I'll be able to remove these bolts up here. This sprocket is not looking too healthy. This one's toast too. And for the rear sprocket, it's pretty simple. We just got these tabs that bend up and hold the nuts on. So I'm just going to pound those down. Now it's a matter of taking off these nuts. Time to dismount some tires. Get her up on the tire changing stand here and go to town. The first step is to loosen up the rim lock and the valve stem. Then I'm going to take all the air out of the tube by removing the valve stem core. Here's the little tool that I use for removing the valve stem core. Works really good. Now I'm just going to break the bead on both sides and then start pulling the tire over the side of the rim. So as I'm pulling up on this side of the tire, I'm also pushing down the bead on the opposite side. This just helps it give it a little bit more space to get this tire over. Then I'm going to ease up a little bit get this other one in. And from here on out, just work your way around. And it's pretty simple. After one side of the tire is over the rim, I'll flip it over and do the same on the other side. So what I'm doing here is pushing the rim as far down in the tire as I can. That way I have room to pull the rim out of the tire. So this is a lot easier to do on the ground. So I'm gonna pull off the stand and work on it down here. Now it's on to the front wheel. This one is a lot easier. So here's all the parts I'm tossing off this bike so far. You know what? I have not done a giveaway for a few videos, so let's give something away here. This sprocket would be a good candidate to give away. Here's how I'm gonna set this up. What I want you guys to figure out is what was initially wrong with this TTR when I bought it. So if you go back and watch a few other videos, I'm not gonna tell you which one, but I showed what the issue was with this bike. Put your guesses down in the comments on this video, and I'll go through and pick a random correct guess, sign the sprocket, and send it over to you. All right, guess away. These grips are pretty torn up, so I'm gonna pull them off and replace them. I just noticed there's some bolts missing on this chain slider. I should probably get some bolts in there before I forget about it. So what I can do on these wheels for now is go through and tune them up. Well, first of all, this rear hub is gonna need to be cleaned up. It's pretty dirty. And then I'll put the wheels on the truing stand and make sure they're true. Then check over all these spokes and see if they're all tight. Alright, it's off to cleaning this hub. So in this bottle here, I've just got Simple Green degreaser. I'm gonna hose it down inside here and see how this stuff works on all this dirt and grime. So that's looking a lot better so far, but to knock off some of this rust, I'm gonna use the wire brush on the brake contact surface right here. This is looking much, much better. Brakes should work pretty good after this. Time for a little wheel maintenance. So I'm gonna get this rear wheel up on the stand here and see how true she really spins. Actually, it's not looking too bad. Got a little bit of up and down movement, but nothing side to side. So here's how I'm gonna correct this wheel. Gonna spin it around until I notice the high spot. It looks like it was right about here. That's the highest spot on the rim. So I'm gonna tighten spokes on either side of that spot, probably 3 on either side, and this will pull the rim towards the center, towards the hub, and balance it out. So it really doesn't take much to make a difference. A quarter turn here or there will make a big difference when it comes to truing a wheel. So I've got the wheel looking pretty good at this point, but it's not going to be perfect. These steel rims are just not made with very good tolerances. The last step with this wheel is to go through and check all these spokes, make sure they're all tight. So how I do this evenly is I'll start at a hole on the rim. For example, this hole is either for the tube or the rim lock. I'll start at the spoke closest to that, tighten it, skip 2, tighten, skip 2, all the way around until I come back to this hole. Then move on to the second spoke and do the same pattern. Once you've gone 3 times around, you will have hit every single spoke and you've got all your spokes checked. So this front wheel has some issues. Check this out. It's got a nice little flat spot right here. There is not a whole lot I can do about this one other than buy a new rim and relace this wheel. But honestly, a flat spot like this is not going to cause any issues. It's nothing major. It's going to be pretty hard to true up this wheel with this big flat spot in the rim. So I'm just going to leave it how it is since it's not too far out of whack as far as the overall position of the rim on the hub. So I'm just going to go through and check all these spokes and make sure they're all tight. Well, that's a wrap on these wheels. Just waiting on tires and tubes now. So I'm gonna cut the video off right here. I appreciate you guys watching and tuning in, and I've got a lot more content coming your way with this TTR. I will see you guys in the next video.